You're very welcome here. This is Coastal Sleep Journeys, and tonight there's nowhere else you need to be. You don't need to follow every word or remember anything at all. There's no story to keep hold of, no path to track, just a quiet place on the Cornish coast, late on an autumn night, and the slow company of the tide. You've come to the edge of a sheltered cove. The path that brought you here has already dissolved into quiet behind you, and there's no thought of turning back, no reason to be anywhere else. The cove lies before you like a shallow bowl of darkness, cupped gently between low headlands that rise on either side. The cliffs are dark shapes, not looming, but simply present, offering enclosure without any pressure at all. Above you, the sky is clear and very wide, scattered with stars that seem to hold themselves at a great distance. The moonlight tonight is not bright. It is pale and even, lying across the stones like something left there gently without intention. The wet surfaces of the stones nearest the water catch a little of that light and hold it softly, and you can see the faint gleam on their rounded edges where the tide has drawn back. Your eyes begin to adjust, and the cove opens slowly before you. You let your gaze move across the scene, unhurried. The stones at your feet are smooth shale, rounded by years of water, slightly damp and cool even through the soles of your shoes. They shift just a little as you stand, settling under your weight with the smallest sound. Beyond the stones, the water lies dark and still, its surface barely moving. And at the far edge of the cove, visible across the low curve of the shoreline, there is a single point of warm amber light. It's a harbor lantern burning on a distant pier. Small and steady, it has the look of something that has been there for a long time and will remain long after you've gone. It doesn't flicker or sway. It simply holds its place in the darkness, a quiet marker at the edge of the world. And now you notice the sound of the tide for the first time. It is a slow, low lapping at the stones, a small retreat and return that repeats itself without haste. Not waves, just the tide breathing. The water draws back across the smooth shale with a soft hush, then returns, filling the small spaces between the stones and withdraws again. This is the cove's natural pace, and it asks nothing of you. The air is cool and still. There is a breeze, faint and salt-laden, but it is gentle, barely enough to feel on your skin. You are not cold. The autumn night is clear and quiet, and the coolness feels clean, the kind that settles you rather than unsettles. You can taste the salt on your lips. Smell the damp stone and the faint trace of seaweed somewhere near the waterline. From somewhere inland, carried on the lightest movement of air, there is the ghost of wood smoke, so faint it might be memory. Near your feet, half buried in the shale, there is a length of rope, frayed and softened by years of tide. You can see the worn fibers, pale against the darker stones, and you imagine it has been here a long time, left by some boat or mooring long since gone. It holds no purpose now except to rest where it has been left. You stand at the cove's edge, unhurried. Your eyes rest on the dark water, on the pale stones gleaming faintly in the moonlight, on the single distant light that burns across the stillness. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm, and you are here, simply here, with nothing required of you at all. You begin to move slowly down the slight slope of the cove toward the waterline. The stones shift very softly underfoot, each one smooth and rounded from long years of tide. The sound of your footsteps is a low, quiet clatter that fades almost as soon as it rises, absorbed into the open air and the stillness all around you. Each step asks only that you let your weight settle evenly, and the stones arrange themselves beneath you without complaint. The moonlight lies flat and pale across the surface of the shale, tracing the outline of each stone where the tide has left them damp. You are not hurrying. There is nowhere you need to be except here, moving gently across this small stretch of shore, drawn toward the water's edge by something quieter than intention. You find a place to sit among the stones just above the tide's reach. The stones beneath you are cool and smooth, slightly damp from an earlier high tide. You settle your weight down slowly, lowering yourself with care. The stones give nothing, but they hold you firmly, their surfaces fitting themselves to you without shifting or giving way. It feels solid in a way that asks nothing in return. From here, seated a little lower than before, the cove opens around you differently. The line of the horizon is clearer now, the dark water meeting the sky in a quiet, unbroken seam. The amber glow of the harbor lantern sits steady in the distance, warmer than the moonlight, constant and unbothered by the night. Nearby, half buried in the shale at an angle, is a short length of frayed rope. It is salt-bleached, worn to softness by years of tide and handling. The fibers are splayed at the ends, loosened by water and time, and the pale strands catch just a little of the moonlight where they rest against the darker stones. It is not strange or significant. It is simply there, the way all things at the edge of the sea eventually come to rest. You notice it without needing to touch it or understand where it came from. You rest your hands on the stones beside you. The surface beneath your palms is smooth, cool, faintly gritty at the edges, where salt and sand have settled into the grain, the kind of surface that asks nothing of you. You can feel the faint dampness still lingering there, and the coolness moves into your skin without discomfort. It is just texture, just stone, just the quiet contact of one thing resting against another. The tide is clearer now from this lower vantage. Each small wave arrives with a soft, sibilant hiss across the wet pebbles, sliding up the slope of the shore with the gentlest pressure. Then it retreats with the same sound in reverse, drawing a little water back between the stones, pulling the surface tension tight and releasing it again. Then silence for a moment. Then it comes again. The rhythm is very slow, patient, utterly consistent. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm. It has no interest in being anything other than what it is. There is no urgency in it, no variation that would ask you to pay closer attention or brace for change. It simply rises and falls, rises and falls, as it has for longer than you can imagine. You let yourself listen without counting, without measuring. The sound settles into your awareness the way the stones settle beneath your weight. It becomes less a thing you're listening to and more a thing that is simply present, woven into the fabric of the night around you. The moon's reflection on the water is closer now, easier to see. It is not one shape, but many small, shifting pieces of pale light on the dark surface, rearranging themselves almost imperceptibly with each small movement of the tide. The light does not hold still, but neither does it break apart. It simply moves as water moves, bending and reforming without effort or loss. You notice the distant harbor lantern again. From here, it appears warmer than the moonlight, a soft amber point across the black water. It does not flicker. It is simply steady, holding its place in the wide darkness without need for company or confirmation. A faint trace of wood smoke drifts across the breeze. It is not persistent, just a passing thread of warmth in the salt air, then gone. Something far inland, carried from a hearth or a banked fire cooling through the night. You do not need to locate it or know where it came from. It was there, and now it is not, and that is enough. The salt air fills your lungs each time you breathe, clean and cool and edged with the faint mineral scent of damp stone. Your breathing has found its own rhythm now, rising and falling in time with nothing but itself. The tide below you comes and goes. The stones hold you without shifting. The night remains still and open all around. You are fully settled now, your weight resting against the cool shale, your breath steady and even. There is nowhere else to go, nothing left to do. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm, and you are here, listening, breathing, held by the simplest things. The cove is fully here now, and so are you. There is nowhere else to be, and no need to go anywhere at all. The stones beneath you hold your weight without effort, their surfaces cool and smooth, shaped by years of water moving across them in just this way. The night has settled into its own quiet rhythm, and you rest within it, listening to the small sounds that the water makes as it moves and moves again. The tide continues its work, patient and unhurried. You can hear a small wave beginning its journey toward you now, the sound of it moving across the shale, quiet and even, a soft hiss that grows just slightly as the water finds its way between the stones. It reaches forward, spreading thin across the beach, and then at the furthest point it can reach, held there for just a breath before it begins to draw back. The retreat is slower than the approach, a gentle pull that leaves the stones glistening in the moonlight, and then the sound fades into the quiet that waits between each wave. The silence settles. Then, in its own time, another wave begins. You listen as this next movement of water crosses the distance toward the shore. It arrives with the same soft hiss, spreading across the stones in a thin sheet that knows exactly where it belongs. At the end of its reach, it again, resting there in that brief moment of stillness before it begins to slip back toward the harbor. The water releases its hold on the shale and returns, leaving behind a faint gleam on the pale surfaces, and the quiet that follows is deep and full. Nothing rushes, nothing asks for anything. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm. Your attention rests on the stones just in front of you now. the ones you can see most clearly in the moonlight. They are pale and smooth, rounded by centuries of this same water moving across them, wearing away every sharp edge until only these gentle curves remain. Some of them still carry the gleam of the last wave, a faint wetness that catches the light and makes them shine softly before the air begins to dry them again. These stones have been here longer than you can imagine, shaped by time and tide into exactly what they are. They ask for nothing. They simply rest here, cool and still, holding the memory of every wave that has ever touched them. Nearby, half buried in the shale, the frayed rope lies where you noticed it before. Its texture is soft from salt and time, the fibers worn down by years of being tumbled and soaked and left to dry in the sun. Part of it disappears beneath the stones, covered by the shifting weight of the beach. It rests there entirely at ease, with no history that needs to be spoken and no purpose left to serve. It has become part of the cove as much as the stones themselves. The moonlight has settled now across the water and the beach, lying flat and even over everything it can reach. It is a pale, cold light, diffuse and gentle, illuminating the wet stones and the surface of the harbor without brightness or glare. It does not reach into every corner. The places where the cove curves toward the headlands on either side remain in soft darkness, and this feels right. Not everything needs to be seen. The shadows are comfortable, and the light is enough. Somewhere out across the water, you hear a sound. It is very small, very distant, the low creak of wood shifting, a boat moored in the harbor adjusting itself on the calm surface. The sound comes once, clear and quiet, and then it fades. You wait, and the silence that follows seems deeper than it was before, as if the small sound has made the quiet more present. The creak does not come again for a long time. The water holds the boat gently, and the night continues. Your breathing has found its own rhythm now, something close to the pace of the tide itself. A breath in, slow and easy, filling you with cool, salt air. A resting at the top, then a breath out, releasing into the quiet. Another. Then the cycle begins again, as natural as the water moving across the stones. There is no effort in it, no need to think about it. It simply continues. The harbor lantern is still there, still warm, still steady. The cove holds you in its unchanging quiet. The stones remain beneath you, smooth and cool and patient. The tide moves in and draws back, in and draws back, marking time in the softest possible way. The moonlight lies across the water, pale and even, touching the wet surfaces of the shale and leaving the shadows where they are. The quiet deepens around you. There is nothing new to see, nothing that needs to change. The cove is exactly as it is, and the night continues in its stillness. The stones rest beneath you. The water moves and moves again. The moonlight remains. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm. You are settled here now, resting on the smooth shale, listening to the small sounds of the water as it touches the shore and withdraws. The cove is quiet. The moon continues its slow arc across the sky. The tide continues, patient and endless, asking nothing of you. The night holds you gently. Everything remains. The pace of everything here has slowed to almost nothing now. The cove holds only what it has been holding all along. The water, the stones, the pale light across them. There is no change coming, and none is needed. The tide moves across the smooth stones with that same quiet rhythm it has kept since you first arrived. The hiss of water meeting the rounded shale, as it rests there for a breath. The soft retreat, pulling back across the same stones it touched. Then the quiet. Then again. This is the only rhythm the cove holds. It has been holding it all night. It will hold it after you have gone to sleep. The stones beneath you are cool and smooth and patient. You can feel their weight, steady and settled. Your own weight rests into them without any effort at all. There is nothing to adjust, nothing to shift. The shale accepts you as it accepts the tide. The moonlight lies flat and pale across the wet stones near the water's edge. It does not move. The reflection on the water shifts just a little, a broken line of white that stretches and gathers and stretches again. This is all. This is enough. Your eyes, if they are still open, rest on the dark water with no effort to see anything in particular. The surface is calm. The air is cool and clean against your face. Salt and stone and the faintest trace of something distant, smoke perhaps, carried from somewhere inland. The rope is still there, half buried in the shale beside you. You do not need to look at it. It simply rests in the edge of your awareness, soft and worn at ease among the stones. It has been here a long time. It will be here when morning comes. The harbor lantern glows across the water, amber and distant and steady. It asks nothing of you. It is simply a point of warmth in the darkness, small and constant. Your gaze can rest there if it likes, or it can rest on the stones, or on nothing at all. The tide comes, the tide goes, the hiss, the retreat, the quiet. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm. Your hands rest on the cool stones. You can feel the smooth surface beneath your palms, slightly damp from the salt air. The temperature does not change. The night air does not stir. Everything here is holding its place with no effort. The water touches the stones again. That soft hiss, the slow pull backward, the space between. Your breathing has found the same rhythm without you needing to guide it there. In, out, the quiet. The cove is still. The night is clear. The moonlight continues to lie across the wet stones, pale and flat and unchanged. The broken reflection on the water shifts just enough to remind you it is water. But even that movement is slow, gentle. The weight of your body settles deeper into the shale. The stones are patient beneath you, cool, steady. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. The rope rests beside you, soft and frayed, half covered by the stones. It does not ask to be noticed. It simply is. The lantern glows, amber, distant. The water touches the stones, hisses softly, retreats. The air on your face is cool and salt clean. It does not press. It simply rests there, gentle and still. Your eyes can close now if they have not already. The cove will still be here. The stones, the water, the light. The tide comes, the tide goes, the hiss, the retreat. This rhythm has been here all night. It will be here all through the dark hours. It does not need you to keep it. It keeps itself. The shale beneath you is cool. Your weight rests into it. The salt air touches your face. The water moves at the edge of the stones. Everything is as it was. Everything is as it will be. The water, the stones, the light. The tide comes. The tide goes. The cove is quiet. The night is clear. The water touches the stones again. That soft sound. The slow pull away. And again, and again. Your breathing is slow. Your body is still. The rope rests among the shale. The lantern glows across the water. The moonlight lies pale on the wet stones. The tide comes, the tide goes. The hiss, the retreat, the quiet. This is all there is. This is all there needs to be. The water, the stones, the cool night air. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm. You are here now, resting on the cool stones of the cove. The tide moves in its quiet pattern, washing softly over the smooth shale and retreating again with a slow, even pull. There is no need to follow it or think about it. It simply continues as it has always continued. Your breath moves through you without effort. The air is cool and clean, carrying the faint taste of salt. Each breath in fills your lungs with the night. Each breath out releases into the stillness of the cove. The rhythm of your breathing and the rhythm of the water exist side by side, neither leading nor following. The stones beneath you hold your weight completely. They are damp and cool, worn smooth by countless tides. You can feel their solid presence supporting your body, asking nothing of you. The small unevenness of their surfaces presses gently against your back, your shoulders, the curve of your spine. You are held here by the earth itself, by something older and steadier than any thought. The moonlight lies across the water in broken pieces, pale and even. It does not move except where the tide disturbs it, and even then it returns to stillness. The light asks nothing. It simply rests on the surface as you rest on the stones. The distant lantern still glows somewhere far across the water, a single point of amber warmth. You do not need to look toward it. It is there or it is not there. If you sense it through heavy eyelids, it is only color now, only warmth held at a distance that requires nothing from you. The tide draws closer again, a soft whisper of water over stone. It for a moment at its furthest reach. Then it retreats, pulling back across the shale with a quiet rustle. There is a before it returns. In that, there is only the cool air and the faint scent of seaweed and the weight of your body settling deeper into rest. Your breath continues. In and then out, and then the tide continues. In and then out, and then These two rhythms move through the quiet night without effort, without intention, without thought. The cove holds you softly in its stillness. The harbor is far away. The moon is high and distant. The night air is cool on your face and hands. Nothing calls to you. Nothing asks you to move or think or decide. The frayed rope lies somewhere among the stones, half buried, soft from years of salt water and sun. It is there, as the stones are there, as the tide is there, all of it simply existing, simply present, without need or purpose, beyond this moment. The water comes again. It retreats. It comes again. It will continue long after this night, long after you have risen from these stones and returned to wherever you came from. There is nothing to hold on to. There is nothing to let go of. There is only this gentle movement, this rhythm that has always been and will always be. Your body is heavy now, settled completely into the earth. Your breath is slow and even. The tide moves in the darkness. The moon rests on the water. The words fade now into the quiet. The tide keeps its gentle rhythm. That is all.